49ers quarterback Brock Purdy struggled in this last loss to the Cleveland Browns. And of course, national media and pundits have been saying, see, Brock Purdy's a system quarterback. This is what we've been saying all along. Well, Brock Purdy joined the Rich Eisen show, and Rich asked him directly about this concept of people calling Brock Purdy a system quarterback. So we get to hear Brock Purdy react to the notion that he's just a system quarterback with the best coach in the NFL and the best weapons, and he's just kind of along for the ride. Listen to what Brock Purdy had to say about that right here.
How do you respond to those who say you're just a product of the system there, the coach and the guys around you, and all you're doing is basically rolling the balls out and not making mistakes? How do you respond to that, Brock?
Oh, man, I would just say, I don't really care in a sense. I just want to win. I want to help this team win. People can say what they want. That's cool. I just want to help this team win and reach our goals. And then we'll see at the end of all this if that's true or not. So
let's talk about your relationship with Kyle Shanahan. What generally does he tell you going into a game like, say, this Monday night? Walk me through that relationship, if you don't mind, Brock.
Yeah. He always just, echoes, you don't have to be somebody you're not. You don't have to be some superhero. You don't have to think you have to do too much. He obviously allows me to play who I am, but at the same time, I understand everything ties together in this offense. There's a reason why he's calling certain plays. If the shot play is not there, progress to number 3 and we'll move on, to third and manageable compared to third and long. And so he's always just, preaching and teaching, play within our offense, within our system. You don't have to do too much. There's times where you'll have opportunities where you break outside the pocket and you have to make a play. And then he's like, be you in those moments. But we have a good defense. We got a great team overall. And so do what we ask of you and we'll be just fine.
Why do you think it works so well or has worked so well so far, Brock? Why?
Yeah. I think we just got obviously a great team. We got playmakers across the board. And so for me, I look at it like I'm a point guard. I just got to dish out the ball to the guys in space and allow them to make plays and be on time, make the right decisions. I don't have to be this, superhero of a quarterback scrambling and making all these highlight plays. That's not how our offense is, and so our run game is really important, for me to make sure we're in the right run, the right play, taking checkdowns, being smart with the ball, being willing to punt because we have a good defense. I feel like it just all ties together, and yeah.
And the number of people that I've spoken to from your team, your teammates, McCaffrey, Kittle, for instance, Debo, I've asked them the same question, so I'll ask you as well. Your coach is famous for saying, this is the way, if we run the play, it's going to work, and it's exactly how it does, in fact, play out. Do you have a story like that about Kyle Shanahan telling you, do it this way, let's call it at this time, and then he does it, and it does actually hit in the same manner that he predicted? You got one of those for me, Brock?
I think there's multiple times, he's called the right play at the right time, Sunday Night Football, the trick play. We've had that in for weeks, and then we run it, and we hit George down the sideline at the right time. It was the right coverage. Great play call. Last year against Seattle in the playoff game, we did this trick play, not necessarily a trick play, but we sold outside zone really hard to the left, and Jawan had a great fake block and went down the sideline. It was a huge play in the game for us to, then score after. We had been saving that play for a while, but he just, allows to, set up those plays for, third, fourth quarter, crucial parts of the game kind of plays. And so everything ties together, man. He's always thinking about how he can set something up, whether it's pass, run, or whatever, but the dude's a wizard.
So many people trying to crack the code on finding another you or finding somebody who can come into the league and perform, in a manner in which you're performing. Do you think the 4 years you had at college and the amount of time you played does help in this front as well, Brock?
Yeah, I do. I've told multiple people multiple times, like the situational football, the environment you go and play in, just the different defenses and schemes that you have to get ready for, like 4 years of that and catching a ball, seeing all that kind of stuff and being, accurate with the ball and making plays, like all that stuff added up. I think it really did help, when I got to this level in terms of, now I get to see the defense. Oh, I remember seeing this a couple years ago against this scheme in college or whatever. I think that all those little things help. And at the end of the day, man, it comes down to making good decisions consistently. And so I feel like I have a lot of reps of that from college, and it allowed me to be ready for what's to come here.
Great job by Rich Eisen, as always. He does a phenomenal job whenever the 49ers players go onto his channel and be able to express themselves. And you heard it from Brock Purdy. You could see it in Brock Purdy's eyes. Like, we've talked about it on this channel quite a bit. Like, Brock Purdy's he's a very humble person. Like, he gives off that very humble vibe and all that type of stuff. But I think deep down inside, he is a true competitor. And when true competitors are told they are lesser than, or they're not that good, or the only reason Brock is having any type of success is because of his weapons, it's because of his coaching, I think he takes that stuff personally. I really do. I was just looking at his face when he was responding to the question. Of course, he doesn't want to say too much, and he doesn't want to give it too much breath. But based on the body language and just kind of his facial expression, I don't think Brock Purdy likes the system quarterback notion, and I like that. I like that he doesn't like that, because that's just going to put another chip on his shoulder to continue to prove people wrong. And I think, again, when you are a natural born competitor and you have doubters and you have people chirping you and you have people saying, oh, you're not this, you're not that, as a natural born competitor, your initial instinct isn't to be like, oh, they don't think I'm going to prove these mothers wrong. And I really get that vibe from Brock Purdy. But what do you guys think? Do you get that vibe from him as well? What did you think about what else he had to say to Rich Eisen? But I really get the sense that I think this, although it wasn't a good performance by Brock Purdy, he still put them in a position to win the game at the end. And I'm less concerned really about the whole talking points all week about, oh, he didn't have Debo and he didn't have CMC. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as the sense that they kept putting themselves behind the sticks with dumb penalties and getting themselves caught in bad situations. And then that's going to put the offense in a bad spot, regardless of the weapons being out there or not. And he also had just had a really difficult time gripping that ball for whatever reason. So I really, like a lot of people put emphasis on the offensive line and lack of skill positions. I don't. I put the emphasis on Brock Purdy's grip on the ball and having a huge effect on him ripping it and having confidence in ripping it. And I really think that this Monday Night Football, if I think Brock is who I think he is, I think Brock's going to come out and he's going to be on fire, ready to prove people wrong on the national stage. So I hope I'm right. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.